Hello, my name's Julie. Thanks for joining me today for this Plan With Me video where I'm going to make 4 spreads in my Skinny Mini Happy Planner for the month of June. The sticker books I'll be using are Spring Allure from liveloveposh for a final spring spread before summer officially begins. Ocean Views by Aesthetic Plans for a World Ocean Day spread. The World Cup begins in June. I'm a big fan of the England team. And our first game is in the 3rd week in June. So I'm going to be using these very cute stickers from Hubman and Chubgirl. I'll be finishing June off with a spread for International Fairy Day, using some really pretty stickers from this Walk Through the Forest little sticker book from Journal Say. I'll be sharing a few tips and tricks throughout this video and also chatting about what's been going on with me lately. And I hope at the end of the video you'll let me know which of the 4 spreads was your favourite. This is such a useful size planner for making notes of appointments, which is what I use it for, but it can be used for so many different things and also has the advantage of being very portable. I've been trying really hard to use all the different themes in this Spring Allure sticker book from liveloveposh. I haven't succeeded, but I'm going to pick one that I haven't used yet, which is this beautiful floral and butterfly theme. Like most planners, I have so many floral stickers that I'm trying to make sure I do a floral spread at least once a month to use some of them up. I'm writing out the dates, which is something I often do, so that I can place the decorative stickers on both sides of the page. You certainly don't have to do that. And this is a planner you can easily decorate in about 15 minutes if you're someone who's very busy. I don't pre-plan what I'm going to do, so I'm starting from scratch, but these deluxe sticker books have most of the elements you need. I don't think this one has actually got quotes in it, so I might have to look elsewhere for those, but it's got boxes and decorative stickers, which is all you really need. So I hope things are good with you. I can't believe it's going to be June, and I'm probably going to start by talking about the weather because at the moment it's extremely hot. Now, us Brits like nothing more than complaining about the weather. It can never be right. It's either too cold or too hot or too wet or too dry. And we've had a lot to complain about in the last week. In fact, it was only just over a week ago that I was taking a hot water bottle to bed, still wearing jumpers and coats, and wondering when spring was properly going to make its appearance, because it seemed to me like the weather hadn't really picked up from the winter, and then all of a sudden it goes from one extreme to the other, and we go from a day where we had blue skies, then grey skies and rain, to some places even getting hailstones, to suddenly getting temperatures that are hotter than Spain. Now, the unusual thing is that it was a bank holiday on Monday and the schools were breaking up for a week's holiday, and usually that's the cue for the weather to be the most miserable it ever is. I know from my time when I was teaching, I used to look forward to the holidays, and then when they came, the weather was always quite rubbish. And then as soon as you went back to school, it would be hot, and you'd always moan about it. But this time I was very pleased for my teacher friends and obviously all the families out there with children that they were going to get a week of really nice weather. And you may be wondering why I'm complaining about the heat when it's quite rare. And that's because personally I don't get on very well in the heat. I need to do some whiting out there. And although our temperatures don't compare with other places, like I know parts of America, it's not the fact that the temperatures are higher, it's just the fact that we don't have air conditioning and it's a real sort of sticky sort of heat. And even though we have fans, all they seem to do is blow the warm air around the place. So I often find I'm not very productive in the heat, and I had lots planned that I wanted to get done this week. And it's just felt too hot. I have at least been able to give my summer dresses a workout. And of course, this might make you laugh. It's a very sad fact that as soon as we know that there's going to be some sun, we do loads of washing so that we can hang it out on the line. So on the bank holiday Monday, I think it was, instead of doing something fun or going out, I ended up doing 3 loads of washing. But it was nice to get it out of the way. One more butterfly, I think. And a couple of bullet points, although these circles are rather large. So I've had quite a bit of fun trying to film videos because I've been sticking to the table and the paper. And as you'll see in a future video, I've been playing with some new stamps that I've got, and you can imagine how messy I got on a hot sticky day with those. I think this spread needs some washi, and there isn't any in that Spring Allure sticker book, but in the Live Love Go Wild Dallas Texas sticker book I found this ombre washi which goes quite well, I think. So I'm trying to decide whether I go with all one colour or just use the ombre effect. I think I might have one colour at the top and a different colour at the bottom. So I'm going to put the purple at the bottom. And then have the more ombre effect across the top. I don't think this strip will do both sides. So I'm not sure if I want the more yellow or the pink. I think I want the yellow. I do find that adding just a little bit of washi to your spread can make a big difference. I often put it on the lines, but I'm not sure if I'll do that for this spread. maybe just the top and the bottom. I think that's probably enough. So I'll show you at the end how that looks with the dates added. And we'll go on to spread number 2. I love doing ocean themed spreads. And I picked up this Ocean Views by Aesthetic Plans in a D-stash. I have Ocean Views number 2, but I didn't have this original one. My favourite theme is all these little sea creatures, but the colours are quite similar to the spread I've just done. And I do like to change it up a little bit, so I thought I would go with this set. I have this Anchor washi in my collection, and I don't often get to use patterned washi, so I'm going to use it on this spread. I will probably make an ocean themed spread in my other planner as well. So I may get to use the other Ocean Views sticker book then. I really wish they wouldn't put the notes there, because if you wanted to use it for notes you could. You don't have to have the word notes written there. I might use the paper stickers in this one instead of clear stickers. Then I don't have to do so much of the whiting out. So I actually did manage a day out, but not in the week of the heat wave. Luckily it was the week before. In fact, I wasn't actually sure whether it was going to stay dry, but it did. And although it was a hot day, it wasn't too bad because there was a bit of a breeze blowing. I have to see if I can try and leave the dates on in this spread. Anyway, I met up with a friend who I went to college with. Unfortunately, I don't see much of my college friends because they live in the north and I live in the south. And we try to meet up at least once a year in London. But my friend was actually visiting the south on a holiday. That's not straight. So I thought it was the perfect opportunity to meet for a day out, and she really likes history and wanted to visit Canterbury Cathedral, even though she'd visited many years ago when she'd visited me in the south before, and I was more than happy to go and visit it again. It's a very beautiful building. And we made sure we did a little bit of viewing, then went somewhere for a cup of tea, and then went back and had another look at the rest. So we did have lots and lots of sit downs and cups of tea, which gave us a chance to catch up. See, the problem with leaving the dates in is that I can't put this sticker on the other side, which I'd probably prefer to. So it's going to have to go on this side. And I'll see if I can find something smaller to go over on this side. Often I find you can get around it by just cutting a little piece off a larger sticker and using that. I don't really like how that line is showing through. I wish I had whited it out first. And I do have these bubbles, which I quite like. So I'm wondering about whether I should swap the anchor washi for something different. But I'll hold off and you'll see at the end whether I swapped it or not. So that's another spread finished. I'm excited for this one, just as I'm excited about the World Cup, though also partly dreading it because we always build our hopes up that England are going to win and they don't. So we will have to see how well we do this year. I may only need these little tiny stickers because they are perfect for the Skinny Mini, but I have got this larger sheet from Hubman and Chub Girl too. This one definitely needs washi for a little pitch. So I've gone with green grid from Planything. I was a little bit silly on the day of my trip to Canterbury because I walked to the station, because you can never be sure there's going to be a space to park your car at the station unless you're going really early in the morning, which I wasn't because it's used by commuters, and you can't park in the street and there's no car parks nearby. I don't know whether to do this on every single line, maybe alternate lines. I could always use a darker green. I'm also toying with the idea of getting out the grass washi and adding it. We'll see. So I'm not the fittest of people, as I don't really get out very much. And I walked to the station, which takes about 25 minutes. And then obviously I did a lot of walking in Canterbury with my friend, even though we did have lots of sit downs with cups of tea. I'm wondering about the black and white washi as an alternate. Let's do that. So obviously at the end of the day I was quite tired, and I said to myself that I'd probably get a taxi from the station back to my house. But when I got to the station, there wasn't a taxi. I couldn't see one. And I thought that there was a taxi rank in the road walking up from the station. So I started to walk, and of course there wasn't a place for taxis and I didn't see a taxi, so I kept walking. And it's never quite so bad walking downhill as walking uphill, especially after a day of walking. So after about 10 minutes I was thinking, Julie, this is a mistake. You really should have rung a taxi. But of course I'd started, and I'm a bit like that. If I've started something, I like to finish it. And I was telling myself that this is good for you, Julie. This is good exercise. This will be your exercise for the whole year. All this walking you're doing, and you're proving that you can still be fit enough to walk to your house. But by the time I got home, goodness me, I was absolutely shattered. Now, this is what the little characters look like. I could have bigger ones at the bottom and then the smaller ones at the top. Let's see how that would look. Yeah, I think that would be okay, a bit of perspective. I think the England game is on the 17th. So I may keep this really simple and just alternate the stickers. Oh, I forgot I was going to use the grass. Shall I use the grass? I don't think I need to. I'm saving as much of that grass washi as possible because it's one of my favourites and I use it a lot. So this is the easiest sort of spread that I make, where I just alternate the stickers. Let's have the goal on Wednesday, and hopefully that will bring us luck and we might get a few goals in our match. Let's have the little one at the top with a goal. And then that side's done, and all I've done is alternate the stickers. And we'll do the same on this side. Got this little, I think it's a medal. And let's put the smaller ones over here. Like that. And how about a football shirt and a ball over this side? And that's that spread done. Really easy. And I will either draw lines with a pen or a mild liner, or you could even leave it blank because there's plenty of room to write. But that's an example of a really easy spread where you just alternate the stickers, and these stickers are so cute, it's so easy to do. I may bring in this washi, it's Halloween washi, but I feel like because it's the World Cup I should have something to show. It's a bit of a celebration, and we have got orange in the cone, so I think we'll do it. Anyway, I wasn't able to have a light in the next morning because my car was being serviced, so I had someone calling, and I was thinking I'm going to really struggle to get out of bed in the morning because I'm going to be aching so much I can hardly move. So I thought it might be a wise idea to have a bath. Yeah, I like that added at the top. And a good chance to be able to use this Halloween washi from Planny Thing. Anyway, I sat in the chair for ages because I just couldn't move, and then I was like, oh, just go to bed. But I thought, no, you better have this bath. And I got in the bath, had a nice bath, but then it was a real struggle for me to stand up in the bath. And when I did, I started washing my hair, and then all of a sudden I just felt really sick, like I was going to throw up, probably because I'd overdone it. Anyway, I managed to get out of the bath, and I just sort of lay on the floor feeling really ill. I wasn't actually sick, I didn't throw up, but I've definitely learned my lesson, and next time I go travelling I will get a taxi back from the station. That's super cute, that spread. And now we're changing it up completely with a fairy theme. Now what I've done with my journal say stickers is put them all in these Amazon sticker storage books, so I can clearly see what I've got. And this little Walk Through the Forest fairy book is full of quite small stickers, and we've got some really cute fairies. So I think the size will be good for the skinny mini, but I will white out the dates on this one to give me a little more freedom. So what other news have I got? I'm enjoying choir a little bit more. Still struggling to learn the songs. I think I said that last time, but they have made some of them available with the alto part, so I can practice. And the concert is in less than a month. I think we need some washi at the bottom. and this is a colour that matches the stickers, I think. It's very rare that I don't use washi on a spread, and I've got so much of it anyway that I'm always happy to use it. Happy Planet don't seem to do these really skinny washies anymore, but they're some of my favourites because you can add just a subtle touch to your spread and not actually take up any of the writing space, or very much of it. I might add more, but we'll leave it for now. I do have these larger fairies that I might use if I'm going to do a fairy spread in my social media teacher layout planner, but they're a little bit large for the Skinny Mini. You may have noticed that I tend to put the boxes in the same places because I know that those are the days that I have things to write. So Sunday and Thursday is when I usually put the boxes, and then I alternate them from there. Not really sure where this is going to come up. In this book you get 2 of each sticker, and one is washi material and one is more of a pet tape, so I've chosen the washi material. I think I'll go with green. I tend to only use a couple of colours. I really like this one. And I think that's probably enough of the fairies. I want to have this unicorn. I love unicorns. That one's so pretty. And I've realised I haven't really brought any quotes in on any of these spreads. I tend to always forget and leave it to the end. My mum is still recovering from her cataract operation that I talked about last month, and she's actually due to be having the second eye done soon, but we're a little bit concerned because she can't see that well out of the eye that's been done. I don't like that being exactly under there, so I might move it across. So we have rung them up and they're going to get back to us. It's very difficult to tell because obviously her glasses aren't the right prescription, so she wouldn't be able to see that clearly anyway, but she suffers from this dry eye, which is actually her eyes watering all the time. And I'm just a little bit concerned that when she has the other eye done, if she can't see out of the first eye, then she's going to really struggle. So a decorative sticker here just for balance. So we've got sort of a sticker there, a sticker there, and a sticker there. How about a toadstool? And a little butterfly. And then something here. I like this little tea set. We've got My Life is Full of Happiness, so we'll put that there. So I've definitely got lots to be grateful for. And then Love Your Universe here. So we have got some quotes on this spread. Now, I don't know if I want washi across all the lines, but I'll decide that when I have a good look at the spread. And I'll be back to show it to you very soon. Here are all the finished spreads. I will say this one I was liking the least before I added the days and the lines. And I did hand write the numbers and I really didn't like how that looked. So I had to wipe that out and add these little date stickers from the Functionally Pastel Live Love Posh sticker book. But this is what I mean about not judging a spread till it's finished. Although it was my least favourite when I made it, now that I've added all the details, it looks really filled out and super pretty. So remember, changing up the dates to match the spread can really make a difference, and also adding a few mild liner lines. This one was using Spring Allure, and my second spread was the one I used, Aesthetic Plans Ocean Views. I decided not to add lines to this one, but you will notice that the anchor washi has gone. I really didn't feel that it went in the end, even though it had a nautical theme. So I used this Planny striped washi, which to me is very nautical. And at the top I added some darker washi, but I didn't like how it looked. So I did this thing that I sometimes do where I take my X-Acto knife and draw a wavy line. And obviously that's perfect to go with a sea theme, and I really like how that looks. I now wonder what it would look like if I had used that washi technique on the whole spread, but I think it looks fine as it is. Another really lovely spread. For my World Cup spread, using stickers from Hubman and Chub Girl, I toyed with the idea of leaving it blank, but then I drew in some lines, which I'm not sure I regret now, because it did look super cute as it was. But I'm still really happy with how it turned out. The final spread, I used Functionally Pastel again to add the days, and a Happy Planner Essential Days and Numbers sticker book for the numbers. This one is really soft and pretty. I am wondering whether this dotty washi is a little bit jarring and whether something a little bit more subtle would be better, but as this is a functional planner for me, I don't usually go back and change things once I've shown you the final reveal. I think this month it's hard to choose a favourite spread, probably because I like things very clean and simple. This one, using Aesthetic Plans Ocean Views, appeals to me, and it does have my favourite colour blue. But I also really love how this Live Love Posh spread turned out in the end. But let me know in the comments which spread is your favourite. I hope you found this video useful and have picked up a few tips along the way. Remember, all the links to the shops I've used, as well as my coupon codes, are in the video description. And I do have a Skinny Mini playlist if you're a Skinny Mini user and want to go back and check out my past spreads for inspiration. If you like butterfly spreads, you might be interested in seeing some Dutch door pages I made with some Planny stickers in an A5 dot grid journal. So I'll link that video on screen here. Thank you to all my subscribers for your likes and comments on my videos. And if you haven't yet subscribed, why not do so for more creative content? I hope you have a wonderful June. Happy planning, take care, and see you soon.